Okay, this is part 6 of packing for a 6,000 mile, 30-day trip. I mean, it may be more than 6,000 miles. It's going to be 30 days, so however that is. We do all back roads. We travel to small towns. We try not to get on the highway unless we're forced to, or we just have to make up time, but typically we'll stay on back roads, and we'll stay in little towns and Airbnbs and log cabins and anything we can find along the way. We don't really have a plan except for in the middle of the trip, we have a place set up for 5 or 6 days so that our women can fly in and enjoy our trip as well. So this is the next part of the packing video. This is still my trunk. This is all my electronics and the things that I'm going to try to fit in my trunk. And we may have to get rid of some things, but I'm going to try. So basically in the house, so prior to me opening this trunk, this is the only thing, this was the last thing that was in it that you guys saw. This is the wetsuit basically, so that I can put on a jacket, put it in this pouch, and basically stay cool from weather if it's really, really hot. I do put one of these Hero clamps in here. I use a Hero clamp which flips around and has a hook on the other side. So basically you can hang stuff with it. So basically it becomes a clip with a clip. And so it becomes a pretty sturdy, heavy duty, along with one of these mountain climbing roping cables. So it's a loop. I can put it over my shoulder and basically loop anything in and make a handle for it. In the meantime, what I have is in this pack on the table inside, I basically laid out everything that I needed. Chargers, electronics, and the whole thing. And so I'm going to unzip it and show you how it goes in this bag. But basically I'll keep this flat bag in here stuffed up in the top, and I'll just have all the items. But real quick, so I carry a pair of headphones just in case. These are Sony 1000s. They are excellent. I do have a pair of iPhone AirPods, but these have such great bass, and if you're really listening to music or audio, they're fantastic for listening to, although it doesn't have the full spatial the way that you normally have with AirPods, but still great. And then in the little pouch up here in the front, I have 2 satellite trackers I carry with me, mainly because every once in a while one fails, so I have each satellite service. So these are 2 different satellites altogether, so they're not on the same network. So if one network goes down, gets crowd-striked or something like that, then basically I'll still have service for something. I hope, unless they're all crowd-striked. Anyway, so an inReach and a spot. The spot's really easy. It just has 4 AAA batteries. I taped the penny to the back because you use the penny to open the screws and change the batteries. On one charge, this lasts about 5 to 6 days. I change out the batteries before it has time to die. So I'm using lithium batteries every 5 days or so I don't miss any part of my trip. And then my inReach I have to charge pretty much every day, maybe 2 days. But I pretty much just charge it every night. But this is the last thing I can think of, besides flashlights, that I carry that doesn't have a rechargeable battery. I don't really want a rechargeable battery. They have rechargeable batteries in some of their other items. I kind of like having the AAA batteries and just swapping them out, leaving this for 5 days. It is kind of a hassle every 2 days or so to recharge lithium batteries. So anyway, so those are the 2 primary things I carry. And then of course I have a pouch of the batteries for every 5 days that I'm swapping out. And of course that would be eliminated if I did lithium, rechargeable. And then I have a pair of Foster Grants that I added this NightEase staple belt clip to the back, and they're fold-up glasses. So these are my backup glasses. I can wear these on my belt and go into a shop or something like that, and if I just need them, rather than having my reading glasses with me, they're on my belt. So those are the primary things I carry there. Now I'm going to break out the electronics. I can't do that with one hand, so I'll cut the video and start again. Okay, so I take things out of the bag and I put them in there mainly so I can try to make things work a little bit better. I left the bag with just the batteries and glasses and stuff, headphones in the bag, and I have taped in kind of a net up here, and I'm going to put it on this side because usually this side has more space because this bag compresses down easy. So when I close it, usually I'll have more space on this side. Over here though, so I do have a middle cable, and that's got to come across, or it's for the bike lock. And so without this, it cuts off and my trunk will get stuck. But I have basically in the bottom, I have an iPad and an old Amazon tablet, and I load the Amazon tablet up with the service manual for my bike. That way, if something happens and I have to work on the bike and I need to look at something, I will take the old Amazon tablet out and I won't have to worry about breaking it or anything like that. And it's pretty durable. It's probably way more durable than an iPad. But I also have an iPad in here to use for work and other stuff. So, so I'm taking an iPad and an old flat Amazon tablet with the PDFs loaded for the service manual. And it pretty much is a backup for anything else. So if my iPad breaks, I can still log into the office, and a little more cumbersome, but I can make it work. This is a, it's kind of a everything phone charger. You've probably seen these. They're a stand, and basically it has everything in it. It's supposed to be, I guess really for an iPhone charger, it unfolds 3 ways, and so you can charge basically your headphones and your your watch, iWatch, and the headphones on the bottom, along with the phone on the top. So basically it does this, and then your phone clamps to it, and it charges, and charges 3 items at the same time. And so this sits on the nightstand. So basically whenever I'm traveling, I just have this one thing. It has one USB-C cable plugged in. Now this USB-C charger is actually for my Android phone. This is like a SuperVOOC. The chargers for an Android for, I have a OnePlus 12, are super fast. And so basically, it like 30 minutes, I'll have almost a full charge or something. It's pretty fast, but it needs this cable and needs this charger. But this cable and this charger will work the rest of the time in regular mode on the iPhone charger. So I charge the Android phone first, and then I put the iPhone on the stand, and that stays there as my night and alarm and other stuff. So basically I'll fold those things up. All right, then the last ones are, this one is all cables and power. So basically I use these cables. I have about 5 of these, which they're dual cables for everything. They're not just dual, they're like 5 different ways. So A, B, C, a micro on the end. So it's got micro in case you want to do a micro without having to have a separate charger, a backup cable for our iPhone, and then it slides off and then becomes a C cable also. So it can do C to C and C to any other option. So basically you can pretty much figure out everything. So I carry this, and I have one magnetic cable that I use for my tablets, so somebody doesn't accidentally kick them. But at the same time, I have basically ways to get charging. So I use this as my charging cable. Every once in a while you need extension cord, so I don't want to pack one separate. So this comes Anchor with base or Basis. The others are Anchor. And basically I use these smart EQs that fold up for other individual things, and I have shorter cables for everything else. So basically I keep a long cable for the phones and whatever else I need. Then I have these cables, and then I'll just plug in whatever other little small cables that I need to keep those running. So basically I have short versions on the ends. So here I have 3 of these same cables, but they're short cables. So I can just use these to charge the camera or charge something else that I don't need to pull away from it. I can just put it on the wall and just do that. Then I have HDMI converter cables just in case we get rained in for a week and can't go anywhere. I've been in flash floods and stuff, and so we've decided we're not traveling in flash flood anymore. So just in case, I have HDMI cables so I can plug the iPad in and watch TV or something. So that's all just charging cables. I also have everything to track these. I have a cell phone tracker in here with the iPad, and then I have Apple AirTags in the others. And then of course on the outside of the bike I have my satellite trackers now, and I'll unclip these. I'll keep these clipped on the outside of the bike so they have view of the sky while we're traveling. And then back to this last bag. So this last bag is basically the activities bag. So these are all charging things. This is the activities bag. So in here I basically have This is called Flex Tail. This is a bug killer. It's basically heated up bug zapper. We sit outside sometimes by a fire or something while we're traveling. And so they come, you buy these packets that go with them. There are 10 items in this packet. So basically I have like 40 of them with me. So for 20 days, it takes 2 of these, but they can last 4 to 8 hours depending on what the battery life is on the device, because you can choose how hot you want to get. So far it's working. It's a little bit like the US versions of the heated ones that you have, the blue pads, where basically it's a bug killer, but it's a different chemical. This is a plant-based chemical. Is it better? I don't know yet. I do have some of those Thermacell ones just in case I want to try one out, chop it up, put it in there. But basically I'm going to stick with their plant ones for now and see how well it works. And then I have an Instacam 360 with a pole down in here in the bottom, so I can stick the pole. I know some people have had problems with the pole, but the new cameras are heavier. And so this one is not as heavy, and I've done this, and I have a metal base. So this is all metal. This is not plastic. And then on my stem, I mounted off of my mirror a RAM kit. So basically I can put this ball in the holder and put the stick up, and it will actually work with a motorcycle ride, depending on how fast we're going. I have to watch a little bit, but so far it has never broken, and the pole has held up pretty well with no problems. It's not bent or anything. So basically that's what I have. And then I have a 3 battery charger, and I have 1 battery in here. In the lid here, I do keep, I keep these old containers. These are old 64 gig, regular SD card holders. Well, micro SD cards are a fraction of the size. So basically I keep unformatted ones in here. So I have about 4 terabyte altogether in here that is unformatted that I can slap into the device. And then I keep one that is another one that says save. And basically I don't copy all the stuff. I basically just take out the card and stick it in this, and I save it for later. And so I'm not going to edit while I'm on the road for the most part. And then I just have a bunch of loose connectors and other stuff that's in here, and an air tag and stuff to track everything. But that's pretty much what I'm traveling with. Now, I do have one bonus thing that I've never taken with me that I'm going to do what I can to get it in here, because there's a problem. But there is a new Nespresso, and I made this little pouch for it. There's a Nespresso coffee maker that also heats the water, so it does the whole thing in one. And that's a lot of space to take up in my bag, but coffee might be the most crucial of things for me. The problem I have is the Nespresso pods. You almost can't buy those in America, a grocery store or anything like that. So I'm gonna have to carry some with me. And I made some holders that keep them from being crushed. But in order to carry enough of them, they take up a lot of space. So that's really my problem. So I'm gonna try to put those in here and see if I can get enough for it to matter. They can be disposable along the way, but I don't trust the little boxes that they come in. They get crushed. And then once those things are dented, it's a real problem trying to get your espresso out. So that's my plan. So far that's everything up to my clothing. So my clothing, the one thing that's gonna be besides clothing, I carry like 8 synthetic shirts, a couple pairs of jeans, all synthetic underwear and synthetic socks. Basically they dry really quick. I'm gonna put them in that roll that I showed earlier, and I'm gonna put them in the back seat of this bike. But this stuff here has to be inaccessible most of the time while I'm riding, because that bag sits up there in front of the seat and stops this trunk from opening. So I basically have to roll that forward in order to take stuff out of here. So I pack up in the morning, I get out what I want, and then I leave it out. And then I temporarily take the camera and put it in the side saddle. Now, the only thing I've changed in the side saddle since I showed it to you last is I added some maps. I use Butler maps, which are motorcycle maps that tell you the best roads. If you've never used a Butler map, you should look it up, but they tell you all the windy roads and the gold roads. There's 3 different colors, so you can choose the complications of roads that you want to ride. And I keep 4 or 5 maps in here in paper, and at night I look at the map and I try to figure out quickly, you know, sure, you can look at stuff on digital stuff, but it makes a big difference to look at it on a paper map, and you can kind of see everything at once. And I can gauge stuff, plus I can see these roads. I do have the Reaver app. The Reaver app does have these gold roads in them as well. So if you don't want to carry paper maps with you, look at the Reaver app, Rever, R-E-V-E-R, and it has Butler maps in it, and you can choose with a button to look at those options and try to see the best roads. But I do carry paper maps. I love them, so that's what I'm doing. So that's pretty much it. I pretty much have everything in here except for Nespresso pods, and I'm going to try to put some creamer in here, non-dairy creamer, but ultimately I can buy creamer anywhere, even though I can't buy the Nespresso pods. So I'm going to try to figure out how to get that in here. And that's pretty much it for this part. Okay, I did rotate stuff around just a little bit. I ended up putting this pad box on top of those. I made these little Nespresso pod boxes, which are 3D printed. So basically it only cost me like $4 to make them, so I can throw them out if I want to as I'm traveling to gain some space. But they're 3D printed boxes, and then I made a piece that holds them upside down, and then a piece that goes across. So I carry 11 per box, and this is almost the most efficient way to carry them size-wise. There was one slightly better. You could get one more pod in there for a different shape that would have not been quite as conducive to put in here, but I almost did it from that standpoint. But I did make this box, designed and printed the whole thing from scratch. So basically these pods can then, there's a hole and separates them all out. So you put them in upside down and put your pods in. And so I'm just putting rubber bands on them. I didn't want to make a little lip or anything to clip them onto. It was not important. I just wanted to keep them from getting crushed, because then you can't get the pressure when you go to make your coffee. So I made 4 of these, and I've just spread them out in this box. And I guess as I use them, I might just throw the box away or something. I can always print another one, but that makes it easier for traveling. I guess I probably could have figured out a way to nest the boxes so that they could just fold inside of one another after I use them. But again, a lot more work involved in that for a $4 box or whatever. Anyway, that's what I'm going to use, and then I can spread this out. And believe it or not, after I put these in the right place, the trunk will close. I already did a test to see if it closed. And so basically I have to make sure that this latch is still accessible. This gets jammed in there, then I can't open the trunk. So that's it for this. And just in case that you didn't believe me, yes, the trunk closes and locks with all of this stuff in it. So basically I've got 4 sets of 11 Nespresso pods. So basically I've got 44 with me. So depending on how many of us are drinking coffee that I'm making, and then so those pods, and then all the other pouches that I said, and then this, which I'll be wearing half of the time. So this one's not even going to be in here most of the time. So that's pretty much it.